after the music faded, after the lights dimmed, there was a silence that didn't belong to the room. It belonged to them. Kiara stood just behind the curtain, one hand resting against the wall, chest rising and falling like she had just ran a mile. Her skin buzzed, not from the dance, but from the way he had watched her. It wasn't lust. She knew lust. She could smell it, feel it, dodge it in her sleep. This was something else. When she looked into the crowd and found him, it had felt like stepping into warm water, sudden, still, and deep. And now, even with layers of music and bodies and laughter between them, she still felt him watching, or maybe not watching, waiting. Carrie hadn't moved. Even after she disappeared into the back, his glass still rested in his hand, half full, untouched. The ice had melted. His drink was warm, but he didn't care. Because that dance wasn't a performance. It was a message. It was vulnerability, stripped of pretense. A slow, silent kind of cry from across a dark room, and he had caught it. Every motion, every breath. He had seen women dance before, plenty of them. Some for money, some for men, some for mirrors. But this was a woman dancing like the world had never given her permission to speak. So she let her hips and hands do the talking instead. And it spoke to something in him that he hadn't touched in years. He left before she came back out. Not to escape. No. He just knew when to step back and let a moment echo. He didn't need more. Not right now. All he needed was to make sure she knew that someone had seen her, really seen her, and hadn't looked away. So he waited outside. The rain had stopped by the time she stepped out the back door. The city glistened like it had been baptized. Pavement, dark and shining, streetlight halos swimming in puddles. Kiara pulled her coat tighter around her, the collar brushing her jaw, her breath clouding the air in soft puffs. The club hummed behind her, muffled now, as if it belonged to another life. She didn't light the cigarette at first, just held it between her fingers, letting the cold bite through her jeans, letting the silence settle over her like a second skin. Then she saw him, Carrie, leaning against the brick wall like he'd been there for hours, one boot pressed behind. Him, his hands buried in the pockets of his peacoat, a hat low over his eyes. A streetlight above him flickered once, then held steady, casting a soft halo around him like a man painted in oil. He didn't speak, just nodded, just waited. And for reasons she couldn't explain, she walked over. They stood like that for a long time, two shadows in the alley, the hum of the street distant, the weight of the moment pressing in like gravity. She didn't know what she expected him to say, maybe something smooth, maybe something forgettable. But he didn't say anything. He just handed her a folded piece of paper, not a napkin, not a crumpled note scrawled last minute, real paper, thick, warm from his palm. Kiara looked at it, then at him, but he was already stepping away, already walking into the night like he hadn't just shifted something in her chest. She didn't open it right away. Her hands were too cold, her heart too loud. But later, when the door closed behind her and she was alone in her room with her shoes kicked off and the makeup half wiped from her face, she laid across her bed and unfolded it. 6 words. Simple. Clean. But they hit like a slow exhale after holding your breath too long. You don't dance like you're pretending. That was it. No name, no number. Just truth. And somehow, it was more than she'd been given in months.